Hello, welcome to Political Circle. The concept that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely seem to be defining our trajectory today on Political Circle. Our topic is the suspension of 87 senior public officers by the Ebonyi State Governor, His Excellency Mr. Francis Nwifuru. Democratic or autocratic? This is because since the event took place, there has been uproar in some areas, while some people are for it. My name is Luke Mbo, and I'm joined by Barrister Godwin Onwuse. He is a legal practitioner in Enugu, a one-time councillor in Ebonyi State, and an APC stalwart. Barrister, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Luke. Good morning, viewers.
How did this event come to you?
Actually, I would say that I saw it as something, to the best of my knowledge, that is unprecedented. I have not been able to remember any such circumstance where such large-scale number of public officers were in one fell swoop suspended. But just like we say, every story starts with once upon a time. So it could just have started from His Excellency Francis Nwifuru of Ebonyi State, where I happen to have grown up. I grew up in Abakaliki, so most of the terrains there, politically, I think I still have some knowledge of them. But I think what we heard was that they were suspended for not attending state function. My knowledge prior to now is that when state functions are to come up, some officials of the state look up to the manifest, what they call the manifest. If your name is on the manifest, you know you're supposed to be part of it. I don't know what the practice is there, but I do know that a manifest that will have up to 80-something people must be an unworthy manifest. Be that as it may, the governor has the power to fire and hire.
People are saying that it's not exactly a state function. Did you make any investigation to that regards?
No, I did not. I don't know actually whether there are rumors here and there, but I cannot authenticate any because I did personally investigate to know why. Actually, why I didn't go into that is that I felt that those people were appointed at the pleasure of the governor. The governor can wake up any day and say, your services are no longer required. You wouldn't say, why are you doing that? Because of all the lot in Ebonyi State, the governor took them and appointed them. And if he appointed them and probably gave them the impression that for every state function, you all must be there. If you're not there and the governor sacks you, I don't think you have any reason to complain.
But from what we are hearing, there are some civil servants among the people suspended. Civil servants, I doubt if they were all appointed by the governor. A civil servant grows from the ranks. So 87.
I am not really very well versed with the details of the non-people, but I know that some of them are permanent secretaries, commissioners, some other special advisors and all those. I can't remember of any civil servant because I know that if a civil servant is to be disciplined, it has to be done through the Civil Service Commission. But I don't know whether there are civil servants among them. But all other officers appointed at the mercy and pleasure of the governor are subject to the governor's disciplinary measures.
But this number of people, suspending this number of public servants at a time, don't you think it is going to disorganize the system, the running of government?
It could. It could
87, that's what we're talking about.
It could affect the running, but that equally goes to tell you that a lot of appointments are actually not necessary. Because I know the government there has not come to a halt since after that. Things are still happening. That's why you see that a lot of appointments are possibly jobs for the boys, jobs for the loyalists. Because I do know that the civil servants there who are working could still be working. But all the same, like I said earlier on, if a governor has appointed you, this is what you do. And probably, I will say that if they were not pre-informed about the state function, and then they miss it, then they could have a reprieve. But if they know that being appointed, serving at the mercy of the governor and at the pleasure of the governor, if that's the state function, then you have to be there. If you're not there, it's just suspension. He could call them back today, tomorrow, any other day. You could even say from suspension, I terminate your appointment. That's nothing you can do.
But there are about 25 commissioners in that suspension list. And you feel it won't affect the running of the government. 25 commissioners.
25 commissioners.
And they were asked to hand over, not just suspension, but they were directed to hand over to the next senior officer.
You see, just like I said, every story starts once upon a time. It is unusual for such large number to be suspended. But I do not think they have any legal reprieve that could avail them. They cannot say, the governor, your hands are tied because I'm your commissioner, I'm this, you cannot suspend me, you cannot discipline me. There's nothing to fall back to. The Constitution gives governor the power to appoint most of those officers. Even permanent secretaries are appointed by the governor. Though he has to appoint from the ranks. Even head of service are appointed by the governor. He has to appoint from among the permanent secretaries.
Is that now a case of absolute power coming to play?
It might not be. It might not be. Let me say that if you say absolute power, why didn't they complain about absolute power when the man absolutely appointed them? Is it when he's now absolutely disciplining them that are going to bring in absolute power? Of all the lots in Ebonyi State, he picked some of them at his own discretion and then appointed them. And then he decides to discipline them. You know, they are politicians. There could be some political undertones nobody knows. But
I'm coming to that. But now let's go. Let's get the facts. You are a legal practitioner. How democratic is this? Or autocratic?
For me, I think the governor has not done anything unconstitutional. Unconstitutional. If you check section 192 of the Constitution, it says there shall be office of the governor, of the commissioners of a state, as established by the governor. So the governor determines the commissioners, the number of commissioners to appoint. When he appoints them, some appoint 30, some appoint 20. The Constitution does not provide for the specific number. But the Constitution does not go ahead to say you must appoint Mr. A, Mr. B, or Mr. C as a commissioner. So when the person agrees to serve under your government, though it is unusual to have such number, but that could be disciplined so that when the governor is the boss, very powerful under the Constitution. If you go to, I think it's section 208, it's even office of the permanent secretary, office of the head of service, office of the secretary of government are appointed at the pleasure of the governor, whoever he appoints. And if he says do this, if you don't want to do it, you honorably resign. Not staying on that and then say as if the governor has not done anything that is that is unconstitutional, as to say whether it is democratic, whether it is autocratic, or whatever.
That brings me to this argument. A lot of people have argued that the Nigerian presidential system gives too much power to the president, and also when you come down to the governors. Some say Nigerian president is the strongest and most powerful president in the world. How true is this?
I agree totally. The powers conferred on the president and the governor are such enormous powers. They can do whatever they think. Even in certain places, the Constitution has provided for checks by the National Assembly and the state assemblies. But if you check the way it has been happening in this country, the National Assemblies check the president more than state assemblies check the governors. Most state assemblies, with all due respect, act at the behest of the governor because of the power to almost to give life and take life. Because when he doesn't give you economic life, you lose your physical life.
Some people say when the president says let there be light, there will be light.
I agree.
But I thought that in the Constitution and then in the civil service, there is what we call civil service and public service rules. I'm also aware that if you are believed to have committed anything, that there is what we call query. You'll be given opportunity to answer. There are people who may have been sick. There are people who may have been caught up with other serious events. Were they given the opportunity to, since we are in a democracy, to tell their story before the suspension?
Most of those people affected by suspension are not civil servants. Most of them are even not public officers. They are political office holders. They are not subject to those rules, civil service rules. If you check the section 318 of the Constitution, you see those who are members of the public service of the state. They are just synonymous with civil servants. But these people are political office holders. Their offices are held at the pleasure and then behest of the governor. Once the governor goes, they go, except the permanent secretary, who though is of the public service, but is appointed at the pleasure of the governor, though he's circumscribed as to from where to make the appointment from the civil servants. That's the person who does not go when the governor goes. But even these days, in practical terms, you still see that they find a way to make a permanent secretary unpermanent, because they're no longer permanent the way they're called.
Well, let's go into politics now. Do you see any political undertone?
It's been long I left the politics of Ebonyi State. I really do not know, but I cannot rule out the possibility, but I cannot pinpoint and say for sure that it has political undertones. It may be a way of whipping people into line.
It has not happened before. Why is it suddenly happening?
Yes, that's why I told you. Every story starts with once upon a time. It can start now, before you know it, another person does it. There have been suspensions like that. It's just that the number. I've never seen, I've not heard of such a humongous number suspended at the same time.
Don't you see 2027 dancing around this event?
You know, now in 2027, a lot of things, even at the federal level, a lot of things are now happening. 2027 is in focus. You don't rule out the possibility of 2027 permutations coming in there. But I do know that if you choose to serve under a governor, and the governor gives a directive, this is the way I want things done. If you don't want to do it, you have to, leave, so that the governor can pick those who, because he may bring them back. I won't swear that all of them will come back. I won't even swear that some of the, because it depends. He will now use this opportunity to check. If there are political undertones, then some of them may not come back.
But Are you sure he has given this kind of directives before? Is it just because if this were part of what was in place in Ebonyi State, I don't see as many as 87 public servants not coming.
But I do know some commissioners, because I know some of the commissioners there. I know some of the commissioners who are not part of the people who are suspended. It means they were there. I know some.
I recall that recently.
I know some that were suspended too.
Recently, he did a minor cabinet reshuffle. Do you know the number of people who were part of the people that were suspended this time around? That is based on the ones that came in just a few weeks or a few days ago. Well, he did a minor cabinet reshuffle not long ago.
Prior to the suspension.
Prior to the suspension.
I don't really know much about that. I'm hearing it here for the first time. I've not followed it. It's just this one that raised an uproar that made me to follow and know what was happening. I even made some calls across to ask what is happening, because I know some of them are my friends. But the important thing I keep telling them, man, you are at the pleasure of the governor. You don't complain because you are not a special person. There are some other people. He left them and appointed you. If he says, this is what I want done, it's either you do it or you stay away.
Do you see some of these commissioners, 25 of them, coming back?
I don't think I'm in a position to...
No, but based on the political activities taking place, you know that sometimes rumors fly here and there. And though I'm not in the right place to say so, because I made calls too to say what I heard, but are you sure all of these guys, 25 of them, especially we're talking about the commissioners now, are you sure they will return?
Let me just hazard a guess by saying that it might affect some of them, but it's just a guess. If it has political undertones, then certainly it's going to affect some of them, except they come and pledge loyalty. If there are suspicions of disloyalty, because you can't have somebody who is disloyal serve under you.
Ebonyi State is almost like River State, where we have big actors, godfathers, playing their roles too. We have the Minister of Works.
Yes.
He's also in the mix. And then we have the governor. Godfatherism. Do you see it?
Certainly there will always be godfathers, because I do know very well that it's the current Minister of Works that made it possible for the present governor to be governor, because he was speaker under him. He made it possible, certainly, just like what happened in River State. But I don't know whether there is any rift between them. What I know for sure is that the present governor wouldn't have been governor without the present Minister of Works.
Since we are making a guess, most of these commissioners and top public servants that were suspended may be people in the camp of the minister. Or don't you smell anything?
I don't know if there is issue of camp for now. I don't know if there is issue of camp between them. Just what I said for sure is that because this thing is the situation is not what you just talk without being sure of what you're talking, because politics is very, very fluid. You can be friends today, you can be political enemies the next day, and the next day you are friends. You are friends politically. So, but I do know that intermittently there could be misunderstandings here and there. But one other thing that I say about most of this is that when people help people get into power, there's a tendency for them to forget that the person who has gone into power will want to carve a niche for him or herself. While the person who helped the person go into power should do well to subtly influence the policies, should not want to totally control the person. That's where problems begin to come.
Because from the actions the governor took, you can see that maybe these people have not been, have not been very loyal to him. And he wanted to use this to make a strong statement I am the governor. And if you're going to work with me, you're going to do what I want. Don't you see something like that playing out?
It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Because if I were in his shoes and I appoint you and you show me elements of disloyalty, if I want to whip you into line, you refuse, I'll ship you out.
So what are the lessons that we, every Nigerian, will learn from this thing that happened in Ebonyi? What are the lessons that we should all learn?
The lesson for me, I keep saying, is that if you want to serve in a government, you must be prepared to serve and advance the policies and programs of that government. Anytime you're tired, you should quietly, though it's not very easy for people to leave juicy political appointments. But if you have principle and you say, this is against my principle, you should be principled enough to say, sir, please, I need to be excused.
Is it an example of people serving two masters at a time, just before we wrap up?
They are pushing me to, whatever I say in this particular question does not matter.
So we're trying to dig in and find out why this action will be taken at this time. So do you see a situation whereby people are serving two masters at a time?
It is possible that people might be doing, because I know certainly he inherited some officers from the but I know some commissioners who were his very close people, close allies, who had no link with the Minister of Works, who were in the suspension list. So that one wouldn't have even. There are people that are close to him that he took on his own.
Barrister, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, we must have learned a lot from this. If you're serving, serve well. Serve, be loyal, and be supportive. Obey the others so that you don't get suspended. That's our show for today. My name is Luke Umbo. Please join us again on Political Sector.